Hi, welcome to chapter 3 of Staying Invested. This chapter is about understanding that it is the best days that can drive your long-term future returns. But in order to do that, you have to stay invested in order to capture those best days. Market timing is almost impossible to do. So this is about making sure you stay invested to capture the best days. But on the flip side of that is to be comfortable with taking on those worst days as well. Here we have a table showing you the returns of the S&P 500. This is the main US index, and it's split into decades from the 1930s through to the 2010s. And you can see here particular decades have particular return profiles. But if you were staying invested, you're better off in both terms of having a less negative return or a better positive return. If you look at the 1930s, for example, this is during the Great Depression, that decade would have returned you minus 42%. But if you tried to time the market and you missed the best 10 days, that negative return would have doubled to almost minus 80. Conversely, during the 1990s, you can see your price return, the total return for that decade would have been over 300%. If you'd missed the best 10 days, though, that return almost halves. And it's the same for each decade. You can see here the cumulative loss of missing those best 10 days in each of the decades. So rather than trying to time the market, it's really important to stay invested, capture those best days, and be robust enough to suffer the worst days. Because typically, those best days follow on from a bad day. Here we have a study showing you that it's important to take the good with the bad for better long-term returns. Here is an example of £10,000 being invested in the FTSE All-Share over a 20-year period running from 1998 to 2018. We thought it was also important to do the study before the COVID in order not to skew the results. If you invested that £10,000 over the 20-year period, you would have returned £31,350. This is staying invested for the entirety of that 20-year period, not trying to time the markets, not trying to dip in and out during good times or bad times. If you had tried to dip in and out and you happened to miss only the best 10 days, your return would have halved to only £15,000. If you happen to miss an additional 5 days, you're missing 15 days out of that entire 20-year journey, your return would have dropped to £12,500. Still a profit, but not significantly high as you would have done if you'd have stayed invested. It only takes you to miss 25 days out of 20 years, and missing the best 25 days. That's less than 1% of your investment journey over that 20-year period for you to have made a loss. I think this starkly shows the importance of staying invested and capturing the best days in the stock market, which can often be following on from a bad day. So as we say, taking the good with the bad. Hope you've enjoyed this chapter, and please feel free to listen to the others.